just finished day one of our Socratic Seminar on Hammurabi's Code. And the seating is set up like this because I've found it to be really helpful for Socratic seminars in keeping a discussion going between everyone in the inner circle. If you've never done a Socratic seminar before, they're a lot of fun. In the days leading up to a Socratic seminar, you help students digest maybe a text or an artifact and analyze it and start to generate their own questions. You teach them how to write questions that are higher order, that are exciting and interesting. Teach them how to make authentic questions that they actually care about, and then you sort of just set them loose and allow them to have some fun, be curious, and try to problem solve using text and evidence. So that's what we were doing today with Hammurabi's Code. The seating is all set up for that round table sort of discussion. The people in the back circle that are around these desks here, they're not allowed to talk at first. So I have a timer that I set up. It's different each time. Sometimes it's 10 minutes if I only want to have like 2 rounds. I put it in a little video inserted into my Google slide, and I have my champs expectations up during the seminar. Sometimes I'll put a prompt up there if students' questions kind of die out and they have nothing else to say. I might show a little video clip to get some ideas going. But today I just kept up that champs board with a little timer. So for the first 10 minutes, the inner circle's talking. If you want, you could use like a talking stick, or I use a foam ball that students pass around to make sure that they don't cut each other off at first. But as the year goes on, they start to understand how to read cues of when someone's finished their thought, and how to be respectful to each other and really, really listen. But at first, it's a little bit rough. The discussion goes on for 10 minutes here in the inner circle. Meanwhile, in the outer circle, they have computers. And on the computer, they're looking at a Padlet most times. And let's see, I have one set up here. So this Padlet right here, outstanding for back channel discussions. And the idea behind a back channel discussion is, so you have this main discussion going on in the inner circle, and the outer circle is not allowed to talk, just because that would be chaotic and too many people talking over each other. So instead, the outer circle is engaging in this back channel discussion on Padlets. The way a Padlet works is you create a Padlet, you share it out, and a couple different options of sharing. You could share it publicly and give them a link, or you could do it secretly and invite them as collaborators, or you could give them a password and post the link on Google Classroom. There's so many different ways to share it. Once students get on it, when they make a post, they just have to press the little plus button under the column that they're trying to post in and type in a post. And it automatically attributes it to them if they're logged in with Google. So students in the outer circle, maybe they're really interested in a question that was brought up in the inner circle, and the inner circle, for whatever reason, they don't know the answer, so they just give up on it and move on. The outer circle might fixate on that question, continue it, and research it further. For example, today there was a question about shekels, like what's a shekel, and the outside circle went into depth researching it, and what a modern shekel would be today, how much money it would be, what an ancient shekel would be if they found one today, how much it would be worth, what approximately a shekel would have been worth back then, and just a really rich discussion going on about shekels in the back channel discussion. So you see this kind of thing happen a lot. I did a government back channel last year when we talked about forms of government, and the Socratic Seminar was focusing on which form of government is most effective and practical in certain situations. So we did an AEIOU, which I switched around a little bit to AOEIU just because it made more sense in this way. You had an advantage of each government, an obstacle, an emotion if you wanted to share your gut emotion about it, something interesting about it, or just a general question that they just couldn't figure out. And that went really well. There was a lot of posting going on in the back channel and a lot of great discussion. So that's the purpose of a back channel. It's a second discussion going on about the main topic. You could even do back channels with lectures. I've seen that done, and I've actually done it myself as well, where I would have a Padlet up and students could just ask questions as I'm lecturing. So I might be talking about, Hammurabi's Code, and students are able to ask me questions through the back channel without interrupting the flow of the actual lecture. And I could just periodically check at my own time during the lecture to see if there's any question I want to address. So back channels are great, not just for Socratic seminars. All right, so I digress. So students can comment in the Padlet if they're in the outer circle, and that's how they stay engaged. The students in the inner circle also have their Chromebooks open, and if they see a question that's really awesome that they really want to address from the Padlet, they sure can. They just have to give credit to the person who asked it. So the Padlet is there to help keep the outer circle people engaged as the inner circle is controlling and dominating the first 10 minutes of the discussion. For grading purposes, I do give students a rubric, and the rubric looks like this. I give them a lot of chances to get to 20 points, and 20 out of 20 is a perfect score. You can do any combination of these things here. If you ask a basic lower order question, you get a point. Higher order questions, 2 points each. Responses that are just opinion are worth 1 point. Responses that reference another student and specific evidence gets you double the points. I do give points just for actively listening. Those points could be taken away throughout the class periods if a student is not focused. I do give points for showing evidence of close reading in the materials that were given to them prior to the Socratic Seminar, as well as points for the Padlet discussion. And that's hard to do if you're using a paper format here. So what I do is I go on Google Sheets, and I have a little formatted template here that I use. Tracking students' performance during a Socratic seminar is really tough. I know of people who record the entire session, or I don't know them personally, but I've seen online people who record an audio recording of the entire session, and then they go back and kind of use that audio recording to track what students said. But I instead created a Google Sheet that makes it really easy to just plug in numbers, and it totals up everything over here with a really basic equation, equals sum, and then these columns here, B9 through I9, B9 through I9. Basically what you do is you just put that one equation there, and you click the little square in the corner of the box there and pull it down, and it applies that formula to all the boxes below it. Or you can just copy and paste the formula all the way down as well, same thing. So there's never enough time as a teacher. Any kind of time-saving method for grading is great, and this has saved me a lot of time. On the spreadsheet, I have my first period organized there. All the way to the right, I have specific examples of what students said. Then third period, fifth, sixth, eighth period is currently blank because we did a mystery Skype today. And ninth period. We have part 2 of the Socratic Seminar tomorrow, so more points are going to be added in here. And if certain students don't max out the points, I usually offer the alternate written assignment for them. I haven't added in the back channel points from the Padlet either, and usually there's quite a few of those too. And also the close reading annotations sometimes help. If students took really good notes in their texts, I give them points for that too. So these are just some ideas that you might want to incorporate if you do a Socratic seminar. So to sum up, I can't recommend Socratic seminars enough. I think you won't regret that you tried it. Students really like it. I had some 8th graders come in today that they noticed the way the room was set up, and they started telling the 6th graders that were lined up and ready to go that they were going to have so much fun, and this was like the greatest thing ever. So, and I didn't pay those 8th graders to say that. It was coming from the heart. So that says a lot about Socratic seminars. It can be fun for the students and engaging, and fun for me as well as a result. If you like Socratic seminars, another discussion format that you might want to check out is a TQE, which stands for Thoughts, Questions, Epiphanies. And if you want to know more about that, I highly recommend listening to Jennifer Gonzalez's Cult of Pedagogy podcast. She talks about the TQE and how that works, and she interviews a teacher who coined the phrase TQE and goes into some great detail on how she uses it in her language arts class. So I recommend TQE as well if you are interested. I hope it goes well. If not, you could always modify it, but I think the Socratic Seminar is a tool that you're going to use for years and years to keep things engaging and fun. Good luck, and I hope everything goes well.